Alright, I guess we're going through an 80s phase. You asked for it, and today, my friend, we're going to be doing an 80s clean sound in Amplitube 5. Vamos a relax this thing now. We break it down, baby. The 80s was such a fantastic era, and I feel like if there's something that we can actually take on forever, is that they were so iconic. Every single sound they used literally defined that era, and that is why we can say an 80s clean sound and not just a clean sound. No, it's an 80s clean sound, right? I feel like sometimes if you say that about other decades, it just depends on how lo-fi or hi-fi it might be. Creatively, there's not many things that change in like a clean sound, right? Just imagine like a clean jazz sound or just like whatever clean sound. It's like the top of generic. But as soon as you say 80s clean sound, you kind of know exactly what to expect. So without anything else to say, let's stop the talking, start the rocking, and grab a guitar. Today, my friend, we're going to be using my PRS SE Custom 2408. Not only because I trust it, but because of how middle of the road it is. It makes me explain that if you have like super high output pickups or super low output pickups, you're way too close to the extremes to be making something that is actually helpful for the vast majority of people. But when I'm using a guitar like this, I know that most people are going to be closer to where I was originally. And if input section is your problem, go watch that video right here that I have about input section so you know all about it and you know how easy it is to get it right. Alright, but let's go. Okay, so here we are. This is our default patch in Amplitube 5. So there you go. It's just like a regular middle of the road Marshall sound. Nothing like what we're looking for. Okay, so to start this journey, let's go to amp selection. And let's start by grabbing the right amp that in this case, I already selected the Fender Supersonic. And let's just hear what it sounds like in the default state. So as soon as I go to my single coil sound and you hear this, you know what I went for it, right? It has a lot of like high definition, but still has a lot of character, and I really like that. And now, let's start tweaking it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this secondary gain all the way down, and I'm going to turn the primary gain to 5 because I don't need too much gain, right? We're making a clean sound, and this is what we have. So now the next thing that jumps straight out of me is that there's a little bit too much mids, so I'm just going to turn them down drastically. I feel like that was one of the key things in the 80s. Like there was a lot of scoop mid-range. Okay, that sounds a lot better, but now we need a little bit more bass. Let's turn it up to maybe 7. Make sure we have no reverb at all. Right? I feel like that's as good as the amp is going to get. So let's do a little bit of housekeeping. The first thing that I'm going to need is a noise gate. So let's go grab one right here. Here we go. We're going to add this noise gate, and I like to put it on our first slot usually. And it's just going to go up until I don't hear that much noise. Guitar noise, that is. You hear it? That's literally all I'm doing. Just making sure that I can actually hear my guitar. And that when I'm not playing, there's no noise. Okay, next step, and I want to say this is maybe half 80s and half just like housekeeping. We need a pre-compressor. And there's a caveat to this because maybe you don't actually need a compressor for this sound because maybe you're using active pickups. And usually they're going to have most of the compression that I am looking for right now. But even then, you might need a little bit of extra compression. And if you've been in the channel before, you know that I tend to use like the LA2As or like the 1176s or like the 670s, all these like posh compressors. But today, my friend, for what I'm looking for right now, the best that I could find in all Amplitube 5, it's literally this Fender compressor. When you put it in low, it just does something that I really like. Let's hear it. there's something about the attack. Listen to the first, like the very, very first thing that you hear about the note. Imagine like the pick sound, if you will. Listen to it. Off. And yeah, maybe we're gaining a lot of gain, but pay attention to the tone difference, how much high end we're getting and how much spank from that string. There's just something to this compressor. I really like what it's doing. But now, my friend, let's bring the 80s. And to do that, we're going to go to the most important effect if you're trying to do 80s music. And let's just play a little game and go right now in the comment section and let me know which one you think I'm gonna choose. And while you're there, remember to like, subscribe, and do all those cool little things that we like to do on YouTube. And enjoy this little bossa nova, my friend. I hope you're having a great day and it keeps getting better and better. All right, let's keep going. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And if you wrote the chorus C1 compressor, you got it right. Thank you for playing. All right, and the first thing that I did wrong right there is I put it on this first slot. I don't want to do that. I want to actually put it right here. And why? Well, mainly because every rig that I make right here in the channel for you, my friend, I want to make sure that you have space to do whatever else you want to do creatively after the fact. So let's say if I were to put this right here, there's another slot that I don't have in pre-processing that I could have if I would have just put it here where my pedals should go. So basically, let's say I know that there's like space for 5 stomp boxes or maybe like 4 or 5 pre-processing effects. I just try to use them wisely. But more importantly, I like to leave space for you to do whatever you want to do too. And let's say maybe like some more advanced tones, it's going to make a little bit of a difference because that's where the splitting happens. And then we can choose like this is going to be something that's going to happen in all amps. And here we're going to be choosing just the things that are going to happen in a particular amp. But that's just way too advanced. Let's keep moving. Now this is the 80s. It just sounds like the 80s, right? As soon as you put a chorus on. Okay, but let's turn it down a little bit. And we're going to put this like maybe around here. And this one, we're going to turn it up because we're going to lose a little bit of gain when we put the chorus. And I don't know, maybe here is good. Let's hear it without it. I think that's pretty good. Chorus is just such a nice effect, right? So now, my friend, I feel like we're definitely in that 80s territory, but it's a little bit too dry. So let's get a few effects going. Okay, so right now we're going to go right here to our racked effect, and we're going to go choose a digital delay to put in our rack A. In this case, we're not going to put it in our effects loop because we're actually trying to get it to be stereo. And if we put it in our effects loop, it's going to be mono. So let's just hear how that sounds. I mean, just listen to that. It's pretty cool, but it's just way too much. Let's just turn it down. And I usually like to use my effects like very low in the mix, but you can do whatever you want, my friend. Just remember, if it sounds good, it is good. Okay, so now that we have that delay right there, I feel like we have a vibe. And now it's time to try to make this sound fit a little bit better in a mix. So the first thing that I'm going to do for that is I'm going to go find my EQ81 right here, and I'm going to put it right at the master. Right, so the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of a low cut right here, around 82 Hertz, because that's where the lowest E lives in our frequency chart. If you're down tuning, you might need to go lower than that. And then I'm going to do a little bit of a 15K boost. I'm going to do 3 dB. Again, I'm doing this to make sure that this can fit in a song, but it's going to be competing with the vocals and maybe synths, maybe drums and bass, okay? And then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my input down 1 notch just to make sure that I'm not getting any extra distortion out of this component. I already got all the distortion I want in the sound. Okay, so the next step is a little bit more creative. And I'm going to go to my reverbs and I'm going to choose this great shimmer reverb right here. And I'm going to turn the mix down, maybe, I don't know, to like 8 or 9, something like that. And our decay, maybe, I don't know, 9 o'clock. And this is just going to add like a nice little ghosting effect. You're going to hear it right now. And then we add a digital reverb just to close it all down. 9 o'clock right here, maybe, I don't know, 8. Color, we're gonna go noon. And then our mix, we're gonna go low, maybe like 2-3%. And let's hear what this sounds like. So there you go, my friend. A really nice 80s clean sound. And just like a super mega bonus, I'm gonna show you the difference that this thing right here makes. Right now, if you hear what I'm playing, it sounds nice. But you hear how round and thick the pick sounds? It's because this is a thick and round pick. But what happens when I change it to this? A way thinner pick. Let's hear it. And on that note, my friend, let's get a few conclusions. Zoom! All right, my friend, so there you go. A super quick and easy way to make a clean sound that instantly sounds like the 80s. I feel like maybe I want to call it the excessive usage of like chorus and like dips in the mid-range and like super lush soundscapes with a lot of reverb and shimmer and delays and all that kind of stuff made it sound like very 80s, because that's exactly what they were doing at that kind of time. They were really experimenting with all the brand new effects that they were listening to, and they wanted to hear more and more of them. And somehow, not only they all made it work, but they made them to be iconic. So I feel like the great lesson that I got today, my friend, is experiment with your toys, have a little bit of fun, and maybe your tone might become iconic as well. But other than that, my friend, I've talked too much. I want to hear what you have to say in the comment section down below. While you're there, remember to always like, subscribe, and if you can financially support me, I'll thank you so much if you press that super thanks button. Other than that, my friend, if you have so much time to watch another video, go watch this one right here. Other than that, I'll see you soon.